So we're going to start today with the big box of radios which have come from a car club at Bury. Oh, it's got no screws in it. It's an Interceptor TC300. Sometimes these are badged as Harry Moss TC300. I don't think these got the boards cleaned after assembly. I've got a circuit diagram and I've got the service notes from last time I did one. There's no speaker. Oh well, that's something else we're doing to it. And there's no fuse in the power lead, so we'll have to attend to that as well. Oh, I wonder where the speaker connects to. Well, onto the back of the extension speaker socket. So, without doing the fuse holder yet, we'll connect it up to power. These can be difficult to get 4 watts out of without the automatic SWR alarm playing up. Right, well, I've got a dead set. So why would I have a dead set? Well, it says on the list this is just a tune, but we've already determined it needs a speaker, and we've already determined that the fuse and the power lead's missing, and we've got something amiss with the power not coming on. See if it's the power plug. Yeah, so we've now got the radio powered up. So we'll rewire that plug and put the fuse in. So what what microphone do we need for it? It's a CyberNet standard one. So we'll use our standard CyberNet test mic. And because it's not a speaker, we're going to have to plug an extension speaker and write from the word go. We'll do that with the test equipment speaker. And the high-low power switch is on the back, it's in the 4 watt mode. One of those, is it, that plays that game when you have an extension speaker. So what we'll do, we'll put picture in picture on and we'll see what it's transmitting at. Interesting, it isn't. So now when I got an extension speaker plugged in, it was transmitting. Let's plug the extension speaker back in. 1, 2. Let's switch it off and switch it back on again. Wasn't transmitting, was it? So the radio doesn't actually transmit. Let's see whether it transmits a few inches to a handheld at the side of me. Turn the squelch down on this. No, it does not. I think it wants a bit more than a tune. We'll see whether it receives. So 2779125. Plug the extension speaker back in. We've got a dry joint somewhere which stops it from receiving. I'll just hold the inner, or shall we use one of Mr. Chippy's crocodile clips? So he's receiving. There's dirt in the channel selector switch, which is not ideal, but in use that should sort itself out. Because they are sealed, there's nothing I can really do about that. So, how deaf is it? So it's 30 microvolts to receive 12 decibel SINAD. Well, with there not being any transmit and the receiver being so deaf, you start to think, is the aerial actually connected to the radio? We'll just check that with the soldering iron. Still no transmitted power. I'll tell you what we're going to do. We'll do a quick rough tune on receive. So we'll switch to the SINAD meter. Because it might have been fiddled with. We don't know, do we? We don't know what's happened. So that's 3 microvolts. It's just crummy. So I put 100 microvolts on and it's actually worse. So it sounds like the detector is way out. So I'll tell you what, we'll put the oscilloscope on instead. Now we'll go to the SINAD meter. So it still sounds awful. Do we think it's miles off frequency? Is that a possibility? Now we got transmit. We've probably got some dreadful dry joints under here. I'll just switch the power supply off. I'll have a look for dreadful dry joints. Right, I've gone through a few dry joints underneath and we've now got transmit. Took the bottom shield plate off, which of course is a pain. So it's miles off frequency, it's unacceptably off frequency. Now let's see how they've done the frequency. Because it looks to me like the crystal's fixed, like it is on a Uniden. Yep, it's fixed. So if the crystal's out of spec, which it now is, we've got to change it. Right, I've changed the reference crystal for an identical one out of a scrap Midland, and it is identical, it's the same make. Now it's in spec, but it's still out. I'm going to let that cool down, but so we're not wasting time, we'll now go through the receive, because between the dry joints and changing the reference crystal, we actually do have receive that sounds like receive. So we'll go back to the SINAD meter, probably about where we're going to be with this. I did recheck the detector behind the scenes. So that's now giving us 0.9 microvolts for 12 decibel SINAD, which is acceptable. And if I put a good signal on it, we've got the full display, especially if my wires don't fall off. What's happened there? So let's see if we can adjust the meter. We've got deviation, RF meter, Nothing else noted and nothing else adjustable. There's one right at the back. I wonder if that's low power. Switch the radio to low power. Going to transmit. Doing exactly 400 milliwatts. Disconnect my extension speaker. Some sets that do this are very frustrating, aren't they? Yeah, that's low power at the back. We'll add that to the notes. And I'll just carry on seeing if I can see another preset. Meter. Yeah, well, that's probably squelch. What's falling out of this? I think we've still got a dry joint somewhere. It's yes, he's tap and go. This is. Right, well, it definitely isn't the meter, that preset. So I'll pause the video and I'll look at the circuit to see whether there is one. Okay, well, it doesn't look like there is an alignment point for the meter. I can't spot one. So we'll go back to transmit, which is where we started. Yep. Been giving a hand with Mr. Chippy on the Stereo Master 2419 trinket box conversion back to a radiogram. He's we're struggling with the amplifier on one channel, but we've found a duff transistor between us. So the tune-up of this is pretty straightforward. Doing spot on 4 watts right now. Are we on low power still? Yeah, we've got 4 watts now. I was looking at I was on low power, wasn't I, like a fool? And we got 400 milliwatts, and now we've actually got 4 real watts. We'll just go through that again. You know what? I'm not even on the right camera for you. So we've now got four and a half. Just adjust this trimmer on here. And I'm actually going to get it correct. I think we'll tune down here. So I'm just going to check we've got something like the same on all 40 channels. It's a bit lopsided, but it's between 4 and 4.2. Good. So we've got the frequency of, I mean, change that crystal, it's 2779087. So it should be 125, so it's still slightly low, but it's now within spec, whereas where it was before wasn't in spec. I'll just charge them a token quid for that off a scrap set. If we start having crystals manufactured, we're talking about 35 quid plus, so it ain't worth it. I don't like it when sets aren't adjustable, and that's why I'm not that big a lover of the Unidens. Let's see how we are with receive now. Oh, have we done deviation? No, we've not done deviation, have we? Go back to the main meter. 1 2 1 2. I think we were in CPT yesterday, weren't we? So there we go. Wow, it's doing 5. That's no earthly good to us. So we'll pop that down. It's on full. Are some people, aren't they? 1 2. Let's get the little test oscillator. Wallow, 1 2, wallow, 1 2. That's about where we need to be. So it's doing, just check low power again. That's now wrong, so we'll adjust that with the preset. Okay, well, it doesn't want to go less than 500 milliwatts. Just check I'm reading that right. Yeah, it's 510 milliwatts. Right, that's that done, that's that done. And the transmit meter, let's see what it does. Well, it doesn't work, does it? So we should have a pile of LEDs on power, but only the green ones lighting. So there's no point me going into that. So basically you've got, is it done with ICs, is it done with resistor networks? I think they're driver ICs, so clearly there's a problem there, but it doesn't say on the thing fix that, it's supposed to be just a tune. I've already well gone beyond that. So, I think we've covered it. Let's check where squelch is. beginning to think that's a bit vicious. I'm going to put the squelch to full, adjust the preset, that's probably about the safest place we can get it. It's not the best squelch action. So we'll now test it for the sensitivity point. Turn the signal generator to standby. I'll switch to the attenuator controls. So we'll switch the radio to threshold and put the signal generator back on at 0.3 of a microvolt. It's actually come in and gone off again. It's not far off that. It's coming in about 0.5 microvolts, 0.55 microvolts, and going off at 0.3 of a microvolt. So we've already said the sensitivity. Just check that again. Oh, 0.92 microvolts for 10 decibel, for 12 decibel SINAD. So that's fine. We've got a bit of a wishy-washy meter. I said it's. Hang on, where's my receive gone? Where's anything gone? Have we got a dry joint still? So for 100 microvolts it lights all of them. 30 microvolts it lights all of them. 10 microvolts it's kind of there. 3, 1 and it's gone. So it's a bit wishy-washy. Need to get to the bottom of why it's not always going back to receive. So let's just see what happens. I think that's actually the squelch coming in. Yes, I think we're there with it. Yep. So apart from the transmit power bar graph, where it looks like the two ICs that control it have failed, I think we're there. I'm going to put it on the aerial a bit earlier than we normally would, because I haven't put it back together yet. Because I've had problems in the past with the SWR alarm. No, it's not playing up on this set. Go on, Nana Roger. And you'll see when you talk, you get a signal on there. Wallow, 1, 2, which is unusual. So I'm going to check it for dry joints again. We're going to have to put some wiring in for a speaker. We're going to have to get a speaker in there. And then hopefully we can put it back together. Right, so I've been over this with isopropyl alcohol, so it looks better. Put the screen plate back. There's absolutely nothing I can do about this 3.5-inch speaker missing. He obviously knows it's missing, so we'll have to carry on using an extension speaker. I don't want to glue in a 3-inch speaker, do I? I don't want to start drilling holes for a square one, which we could also get. And yes, there's people with them for about £18 in another country. So I think that's a no-no. Right, so we've got it plugged into the aerial. We've got it plugged into the extension speaker in the test equipment. I might have to lower the internal squelch because it isn't hissing. That isn't faulty, it isn't hissing because the internal squelch is still there that little bit. But we know it opens at 0.3 of a microvolt, so if there is any signal out there, it is going to open. Well, Nana, Roger.
I bet that was comfortable ride, wasn't it? Just see you little bold head now, bouncing off the fucking ceiling.
19 a Roger. Tango 21, Mr. Chippy.
Tango 21, go ahead.
Yeah, I've just got this on the aerial. Is it? It seems to be working.
Sounds like it is.
Roger. Right. Well, we'll end this video, and I'll just go over to the camcorder.
Roger that. I was coming back down the lane. I'd not heard from you, so turning around and heading to the lay-by at Woody's.
Roger. Right, so there we are. That was a kind of on-the-air test from Mr. Chippy before the on-the-air test from Mr. Chippy. So, so not in exactly the best condition. I don't like to send them out with no internal speaker, but then it's come in like that. So you know somebody knows about it, don't they? Let's hope that what we pull out of the box tomorrow is in a lot better condition than this one. So thanks for watching the Interceptor TC300 from 1981. These were also available as the Harry Moss TC300.